Can you switch the view to gallery there, just so I can see everybody? You guys want to say hello and introduce yourselves and let us know where you're at while we wait for everyone to come in. Hey, Nate.
Hi everyone, my name's Nate. I am the founder of Adventure Out Loud, who is an African adventure specialist who donates 50% of our profits to keep disadvantaged kids in school. So I was having a chat to Jen the other day. I'm pretty excited. We've got 3 kids sponsored this week, which is awesome because normally we only get kids sponsored when we're traveling, and we haven't traveled for 2 years. So
Awesome.
nice to still get some of our, it's nice to still be able to achieve some of what we're set up to do, even though borders are shut. And also pretty excited that in Australia, it's looking like maybe we'll open up one day. So starting to get excited, we might be able to do some traveling again.
I bought my return ticket for December.
Well, the weather is beautiful here. By the time you get home, it'll even be lovely down south.
Exactly. I'm just going to live in eternal summer, just escaping the worst COVID outbreak. Hi there, John.
Hi there, how you doing?
Yeah, where are you calling in from?
Good. Yeah, I'm John. My company is a company called Where to Africa. We're based in South Africa and Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. And we organize tours, travel, safaris, eco safaris around Southern Africa, anywhere in Southern Africa.
Ooh. How's it going down there? Things starting to open up again?
It is starting to open up again. There's a lot of interest. You know, we're starting to get the Americans coming back. Germany has opened up again. So yeah, there's a lot of forward-looking inquiries. You know, conversions are still short and sweet, but yeah, there definitely is a lot more positivity. We are hoping that British government's going to take us off the red list shortly, and indications are that they will. And yeah, but at the moment now, it's been a lot of domestic travel, you know, sort of in and around regional travel, because the guys can travel between South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. The travel is fairly open there with a lot of COVID test restrictions, etc. But it is definitely starting to open up, and we're starting to get a lot more positive.
Yeah, that's really good news.
Silver Sea Cruises is starting back up in December in Australia. They're only going to do closed loop sailings for Aussies, but that is huge that they're going to be restarting. So I was just having drinks with the vice president of Silver Sea last week, and I am dying for them to open it up to US citizens, because I have a crazy number of clients who had trips canceled to Australia and New Zealand, and especially in the cruise market, they are waitlisted now into 2024.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're saying that so Australians can cruise around Australia.
I'm sure you're ready to get out because you've been locked up in your little, 100 square meter,
Well, he's been in Queensland where things are a little bit more open.
Yeah, I've been lucky. The government, I think, said that we won't be having anyone come into Australia until sometime next year. I think it was around April. So it'll still be a little while before people can freely come in, unless you're returning Aussies that are double vaxxed.
Yeah, I'm desperate to get to Aussie. My daughter lives in Brisbane. She's had twin children, which are nearly 2 years old yet, and I haven't met them yet because I can't get to Aussie.
Oh, that's hard.
It's been a really hard few years, right?
Yeah.
But it does feel like we're kind of moving into a new phase. And I think what I'd like to do is get started, because we were going to go live on Facebook. So if you guys are happy with that, just leave your cameras on if you don't mind being on Facebook. If you don't want that on, you can turn your camera off, but please do feel free to put comments in the chat and speak up along the way and ask questions. This is a conversation, so not a lecture. So we're going to be going through a couple of things, but please feel free to ask questions along the way so that we can make sure that this is helping you guys start your affiliate program. All right, Claire, do you want to get the Facebook Live going?
Yep, I'm pulling it up now.
Screen over here. All the fun stuff. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Excellent. Oh, and I saw Sam come in there. Sorry I didn't say hello to you, Sam. Hello. Looks like you're making dinner. All right.
All right.
Okay. Well, hopefully we're live. Are we live?
We're loading. Here we go.
We're loading. All right, guys. Hello, Facebook. Welcome to how to launch your own affiliate program. I'm Jen Fine. I'm the co-founder and CEO of YouLi, and we are the best platform for group travel businesses. And we are hosting this masterclass today because we understand that we're a technology provider. We make it really easy for you to grow your affiliate network from a technical standpoint, which is what we talked about in our last masterclass. But of course, there's a whole other side to growing your affiliate program. And that basically comes down to best practices. How do you pick the right affiliates? And what kind of agreements do you need to have in place? So it's all well and good to say, yeah, send me referrals, I'll give you a commission. But how do you structure that in a way that's fair and a way that everyone's accountable to each other, everyone knows what their obligations are? So that's what we're talking about today. That's what we're focusing on. I just want to make sure that we're clear on the terms that we're using here. We talk about tour operators. We're talking about the people who are putting the trips together, who are putting them out there. They're the people who are taking these people on the trips. So they're taking the payments. And so you would be using the YouLi platform to publish your itineraries. And so just as an example of that, let's say you have a bunch of trips, like here I have some examples. And then you decide that coming out of the pandemic, you want to invite people to help you sell your trips. And so in the YouLi platform, you can invite them as affiliates and you can pick their commissions. So again, we're not going to go into the details on that, but basically once they send you referrals, you will see in your reports on YouLi that they have given you that referral, that the booking has been paid in full, and the commission that you owe them. So that's how that works on the YouLi platform. If you are the one actually creating that trip, and if you're the affiliate, which is often an influencer or, oh, sorry, you can't see my screen. 1 second, let me switch. If you're the affiliate who's been invited to sell those trips, you're going to see an interface that says trips I can sell. And then there's that Best of Morocco trip again. And this is where they can get the links and see the 2 people that they've booked in there, and they can see the commission that they've earned all in the same platform. So this is just a little bit of an insight into the way that the platform manages that from a technology perspective using tracking links and reporting. And as I said, that's just half of the picture, right? So the other half is, of course, how you actually figure out who you want to do that with. Let me just jump back to this screen. And sorry, I've gotten into the wrong screen. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. And so I've actually invited Katie here and Sheila to help us understand the 2 sides of this equation, right? So we have Katie, who is the founder of Peak Flow OBM, and she specializes in helping tour operators, specifically adventure tour operators, make sure that their operations are flawless. She's incredible. And if you need guidance on getting your stuff put in place as an operator, and especially as an adventure operator, she's definitely the one to talk to. She also has a template on how to set this kind of stuff up. and how to get agreements in place. Like she has a template for the actual affiliate agreement that we're going to talk about today. We also have Sheila Folk, who is the founder of Travel Industry Solutions. And that is off the back of her experience as a luxury travel agent, Beyond Travel, I believe is that? Yeah. So she's been phenomenally successful selling travel as an agent herself, and realized that there was a gap in the market in terms of helping agents make sure that they have all the right legal documentation in place. And so she has launched Travel Industry Solutions to service the travel agent market in the US. So she's going to be helping us understand what are the agents that you might be inviting into this, thinking about when they're looking at these affiliate agreements, and just help us really get the two sides of this equation represented in the conversation. All right. So we're going to let Katie sort of jump in and share with us her perspective on how to set up or how to start the process of setting up an affiliate program.
Awesome. Thanks for the solid intro, Jen. Hopefully what you're all seeing right now is a Google Doc. So give me a thumbs up if you're coming through strong. Okay, awesome. So today I'm going to be sharing an SOP, and an SOP from a contextual standpoint is a standard operating procedure, aka a series of steps that we go through to outline this like repeatable task that we're going to be doing. So in today's example, we're looking at setting up an affiliate program and the task of getting all the pieces pulled together so that you have a comprehensive program outlined and all the pieces in place before you even reach out to some of your potential affiliates, for example, and then all the steps that take you all the way through to that sort of re-engagement of those affiliates as you perhaps even launch new trips. So this is one of my favorite things to do is look at processes, document how we do them in a step-by-step way, and think about stuff in this like chronological order. So what we're going to look through today is this series of steps, 10 steps that I've identified as being sort of the critical building blocks for your affiliate program. So as you see under the timeline section, right, steps 1 and 2, those are only going to be completed once, but the rest of the steps 3 to 10 are ongoing pieces that you might be like cycling through either on like a quarterly basis or on a per affiliate who's applying type of basis. All right. So in this SOP, I've included a couple of resources, and this SOP is available today for purchase as part of our program together. So you can totally get your hands on a copy of this that you can use yourself in your own business. So inside that, we're going to also have a look at the program guidelines and agreement. So I'm just going to pop that open in a new window. And we are going to move on into the first steps of this process. So I already said that steps 1 and 2 are the things you're only going to do once. So when we look at step 1, right, we're asking ourselves and thinking about our marketing strategy and like, is having an affiliate program right for your business? And this is going to be very personal to each tour operator. You're the one who's deciding if having other people sell spots on your trips or an entire trip themselves is the right move for you. Okay. So if that's something that you align with or that you stand behind and feel totally comfortable with, then you can move on to this section down here. So number 1 is, do you have any criteria for what would make a good affiliate? So maybe it's someone who is really familiar with the destination or the activity. Maybe it's someone who, specializes in adventure sports or families or couples travel, whatever your niche group sort of is. And then my second point I put here is review the math. So it does cost you something as a tour operator to have these affiliates basically being your sales agents, right? They're helping you expand your network. So it's important that you just review, right, your trip pricing so that you are able to account for giving that sales commission to these sales representatives, basically, of your trips. And then the other thing to consider is just, is there a max percentage of commission that you're able to afford? And that might help screen in or out some of these, travel agents or travel advisors. Because if your, percentage isn't high enough and they don't feel like it's worth their time, that's okay, right? It's a tool that kind of works both ways. And then is there going to be a maximum referral limit? So maybe per trip, you can only really afford to give away 2 spots at 20% commission and not all 10 spots, right? So it's just some math that you need to look at in regards to making sure that your tours stay a profitable, service in your business, okay? So
Maybe
the
can I
second
ask
step,
a bit of a naive question there.
go for it.
Because, yeah, so can the agent like add on, or can you sort of up the price if you're selling through the affiliate? Is that something you would recommend doing?
So this becomes a business owner decision, basically, is do you want to set a, fixed amount that your affiliate program gives to everybody, and you just like put it up in your website, and that's the amount that everybody gets, regardless of whether they're just an Instagram influencer or a full-scale travel advisor, right? Or are you going to have the percentage be based on who the affiliate actually is and what their sales capacity is, and also what additional services they're bringing to this traveler, right? If we think about the relationship, we have this like triangle. So the people who are more in the travel advisor and travel agent sphere bring a higher level of customer service, because they're actually like a really truly shared client. The travel agent or travel advisor might also be booking flights, travel insurance, and doing some other things that help your, shared traveler at the bottom show up better prepared for their trip, right? Whereas someone who's just an Instagram influencer, they're just literally throwing out a link and doing a couple of live things and driving traffic maybe to your trip, and maybe people are registering. And if somebody books, that's great. But they're not going to support that traveler right at the bottom of the triangle. So you're here and this other affiliate is here. They're not going to support that traveler in the same way that a travel advisor or a travel agent would. So from my perspective, as you work harder to satisfy the needs of a customer, you should also be rewarded. So it really becomes up.
And from a travel agency owner perspective, we're seeing a shift in our industry more and more to charging fees because of the amount of time that it is taking for us to prepare our clients, to do a lot of research. And we're also seeing a shift of more and more advisors using DMCs and boots on the ground, rather than tour operators who may be based in the US and cover the globe. The experience is better. We're looking at more profitability. Profitability is a huge issue for us right now because of the time that's involved. So it does allow us to mark up more. So the markup, I think, from a travel advisor perspective, would be critical. I also would say that you will find more dabblers who are interested in the TCs rather than receiving more of the revenue. So there are a few things that, I don't care about free trips. I can buy my own trips. So I'm more interested in the revenue. So I want the TC to be converted into revenue. But you will find advisors who can fill a lot of space for you, but they also want to participate, which then in turn kind of alleviates a little bit of a load. So it's thinking about all aspects from a travel advisor perspective these days would be important, I would think, in making your selection and who you want to commit to.
Right.
Yeah, those are all.
I feel like that's an area we could spend a lot of time on. So I feel like it's something that a business has to think a lot about, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's many prongs to the affiliate, wheel that we're creating here basically, right? So these are just, some of the key considerations, and profitability, has to be there for both parties basically. So, and that is all what we structure here in step 2, which is in this affiliate program guideline or the agreement document, right? And that can be something that you have like a generic, template of, which I've created for you here, that, perhaps lives on your site, and the commission portion is like ranges from 1 to 20%, right? And you can just like advertise it as this like range, and it really depends on who that person is going to be. So in looking at our affiliate program guidelines and agreement document, this is, doesn't necessarily have to be a like, from my perspective, a super, legally binding document. If you want it to be that way, I would take this template and definitely have it reviewed with a lawyer and someone who's in that legal side of things. My intention with this affiliate program guidelines and agreement is to really map out all of the arrangements, right, and relationships and roles and responsibilities between the two parties, basically. So what is the affiliate responsible for, and what types of things do they have to, watch out for? And then what is the tour operator sort of responsible for on their end as well? So let's have a quick peek here at this. So like I said, this is a template version that comes with that SOP. If you are purchasing today, you will also get a copy of this. And we've made it super simple for you to update. It's also kind of bland, so you can also go and brand it for yourself. So basically, this is the really important sort of section of the affiliate program. And this is where you as the business owner have to really do that deep dive, right? On like, what is the action criteria? So by default, and Jen and I clarified this earlier, YouLi attributes the commission to an affiliate when someone actually like pays for their spot on the trip, okay? So right now that's sort of a default action. So I'll get that updated for everyone. What is the affiliate commission rate, right? So what are you offering to the affiliate? And if you're going to create an affiliate program, agreement on a per affiliate basis, then that's where you can have a document that's for, Sheila, and Sheila gets this percentage, and you have a document for Jen, and Jen gets this percentage, and you have a document for Katie, and Katie gets this percentage, right? So it can vary across different types of affiliates. And then this is that limit, right? So that referral occurrences is do you have a maximum that any individual affiliate can basically sell on any given trip, any given month, any given calendar year? And that's where you have to just get a bit, grainy about the details to really make sure that it's clear both ways, right? The referral days and the referral restrictions, these are basically hard coded into the YouLi platform. So what this means is the referral days is essentially the cookie that gets stored. And this is my like Jane of all trades verbatim here, which is 30 days in this case. So that means that Sheila sends a link to her client. The client clicks that link, active for 30 days. And if that client of hers doesn't go back and buy a spot on the trip, then that referral sale doesn't get tracked in the system. Okay. So that traveler would have to go back to Sheila and say, hey, send me a new link. And then, that would work. Or Sheila has to like kind of encourage them to book their spot and pay their deposit within the cookie window. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it also protects in terms of being the first referral. So if they click through from Sheila's link, and then later they see something on Facebook and click through on that, it will still attribute back to Sheila within those 30 days. So we give a first attribution, which is like general best practices in this space. So we ensure that happens. You don't need to think about that. But if your agreement needs to have that documented, you can document that we will ensure that that's the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that commissions are only applied when travelers book through the YouLi platform using the affiliate tracking link. And I think that's an important piece just to, again, have total clarity between parties, right? So a client can't just, of Sheila's, can't just email her and say, I want to like book this, book this trip, or they can't just, email the operator and say, oh, Sheila told me to email you to book my spot, right? It's like, thanks for the referral. That's awesome. But we can't give you any commission because it didn't come through your link, right? And just, that's going to save everybody a lot of like, basically, just sanity, like tracking info sanity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And who said who and what, and just be like, no,
Mm.
it's got to come through the link, and that's it. That's all. And then you really need to be super clear about your payout or your reversal policy. So my 2 cents that commissions should be paid after the trip has happened, because as a tour operator, you need to ensure that that client actually comes on the trip, right? And you get to therefore keep all of the money they've paid you and have that money on hand to then say, thanks for the sale, and thanks for running my trip, and here's my rent for the month, right? Sort of thing. Because if you start paying commissions, in advance, then you have to also deal with, okay, a client is canceled, right? I gotta then refund. I gotta try to claw that back maybe from the travel agent or travel advisor. And I feel like that's gonna get messy. Sheila, do you have any issues or
Well,
experiences with something like that?
The biggest thing that comes to mind is if somebody cancels who has travel insurance and they cancel for a medically covered reason. So you then fall into the situation where the agent has commission protection through the insurance company. So you can't double dip by law. The travel advisor is not allowed to get commission from you after the traveler has made a claim against the insurance company, and then you've also made a claim for commission protection. So
interesting.
So there are parameters, and this is why a lot of, particularly on the land side, you will see payments or occur after travel is complete.
Yeah.
So it's not something that we love, particularly with COVID. And I know ASTA has advocated for suppliers to pay travel advisors sooner. But it just brings in a lot of issues that I can see from an operator standpoint as well. And that would be one of them.
Right.
You don't want to pay out if the agent is commission protected.
Oh, that's really interesting. And then that depends on what kind of travel insurance was purchased, whether or not that includes it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's certain providers that I use that provide commission protection. So I'm not familiar with all of them all over the globe, but yeah.
Yeah, that's so I think the question of, when does the commission get paid from a tech perspective, we show the trip start date on the trip end date on the report, so that the expectation is being set that the commission will get paid somewhere around that date. And then what specifically you've agreed to will be in your agreement. And so the reporting will just kind of say like, okay, this is what you've accrued. This is the date of the trip. And so based on your agreement, you should expect it within 30 days,
Right.
Whatever that is. And actually, what is it typically within 30 days of trip start, trip end? What would you generally expect to see?
30 days after travel.
After travel commences or travel
Ends.
ends? Travel ends. There you go.
Yeah.
So if that's kind of an industry standard, if there's any, I would say stick to it unless you have a good reason to vary from that. And then the platform will allow you to, this feature is coming out shortly, will allow you to mark it as paid. So the YouLi platform does not manage commission payments. We manage the tracking, and we ensure that the operator gets paid. And then we ensure that the reporting is consistent for both the affiliate and the person running the trip, so that you guys see that amount. But then it's up to you to have this good agreement in place, and it's up to you to then go and make that payment however that needs to be made.
Yeah, so that's another step on the SOP along the way, right? Is that you know, you have to put this in your calendar, basically, right? To pay your salespeople, your affiliates, who are driving valuable revenue into your business, and really, you know, effort put into try to pay them on time, just like your suppliers as well, right? So this is just another part of that, you know, wheel that we're talking about with having the affiliate program. And I'm really sorry about the barking puppy in the background. She's very angry.
Hey, Jen,
And,
Yeah, Nate.
does YouLi integrate with Xero for this so that it automatically creates a bill that we need to pay the supplier?
Ooh, that's a good question. We do not have that level of integration. I'm trying to think. We do integrate with Xero for the invoices to the traveler. So that's a very good idea, actually, to create an outstanding bill for you to pay your affiliate. Oh, very, very good suggestion.
Welcome.
Any other questions while we're paused? I see Christine joined in. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome. We're just getting into the affiliate agreement details. You can, sorry, Katie, we'll let you take back control.
yeah, sounds good. So just to give you another cursory sort of glance through the rest of this affiliate guidelines and the agreement down below. So the guidelines are intended to be a quick series of like things that affiliates, you know, can do to sell your trips, stuff that's, you know, encouraged and to be sort of basically promoted, right? With little reminders along the way, right? If you're unsure of how to answer a client's question, like please reach out to me, the tour operator. I'd be happy to answer them for you, so you can ensure this is, you know, the right trip for your client, or that they are showing up with everything they need. Then I have a section of like little don'ts. So just to watch for things like protected keywords regarding your SEO. We don't need, you know, we don't want our affiliates to be taking especially like high ranking keywords like your company name and things like that. Try not to make promises of safety while the traveler would be traveling with our company. Watch out for the trademark logo sort of stuff. You know, just a lot of this is like pretty sort of generic stuff, right? Like try not to, you know, don't promote our trips in regards to anything that's harassing or threatening. You know, it's all should be pretty straightforward to most people, but it's good just to be clear and have it all in writing. And then at the bottom, I have the agreement section. So this is, you know, again, if you want this to be, you know, official and formalized, you should definitely seek some lawyer consultation in regards to this, but just outlines again the terms of the agreement. So when it starts and, you know, when it will end, use of the company content, that all the trip stuff is company property. So if it's my trip, right, that itinerary basically is like, that's my, you know, intellectual property. How the commission structure, pay, fees, taxes, all that kind of stuff works. And just covering all the, you know, typical agreement stuff, right? Confidentiality, termination, how stuff, you know, will work if it gets changed. Limitations of liability, indemnity, all that sort of like, you know, basic contract language is accounted for here. And then I've just given a space on the bottom that is, you know, a space where you can, again, like I said, we're going to create one for Sheila and one for Jen and one for Katie. Then we would each, you know, fill this out basically to sign off to say, yeah, I agree with the program guidelines and the terms and conditions. It all sounds good to me. And I'm stoked to go out and sell your trips to my clients, basically. Right. So that is a big first sort of 2 steps, right? But it gets easier as we go along. So now that you've outlined all your like criteria for your program, we're going to create an affiliate application or like a screening process. And basically what that is like a little like kind of, you know, before you just take on anybody, it's important that you do make sure they are the right fit for you, right? So you've set that criteria in step 1. Now let's just like create a form for people to fill out, or, you know, invite them to get on a call with you and have a chat and make sure that, you know, it's going to be a good collaboration. And I think that's, you know, just a nice thing to also have like a real person connection as well, right? Like to know that Sheila was selling my trips. I could get to know her a little bit more. We just have that open line of communication established. Sheila, do you want to speak to anything around like applying for or like being accepted into a program from the travel advisor side?
Well, I would say from a travel advisor's perspective, understanding financial viability of the people that we're working with is incredibly important. After last year, having a lot of our, seeing a lot of suppliers go under, a lot of them who were not set up properly with trust accounts, they were borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, became very problematic. From my perspective, I want to see more flexible COVID policies. I will not do business with somebody who will require my client to pay in full 60 days prior. And if a country shuts down, you're not willing to give my clients money back, under reasonable circumstances, and that you're only willing to hold future travel credits. So I think it would be really important for a lot of the folks who sit on the other side to consider that and to think about that. We don't have an opportunity as advisors to speak in a larger space or platform to suppliers, in a big audience. So not only am I trying to share with advisors what they should be asking for, but to share with partners like you guys some of the questions that you may get and some of the concerns. So I think together we can, obviously create better relationships and deliver better product for our customers in general by proactively thinking about these things and being prepared to answer those questions of the travel advisor, community.
Well, and I think on the COVID policies, one of my thoughts there is a lot of clients I know were able to get their, have their travelers accept credits. So I'm curious, like how that would work in an affiliate scenario. If it's a credit, then that commission's still kind of accrued in that case, right? So you're giving a look of like no credit.
This was the problem. I'm sitting on $150,000 in credits for clients from last year, and that's a lot of commission that's owed to me. And quite frankly,
interesting.
Some of these credits are being held illegally. This money is being held illegally. And because I own a company that creates legal documents for travel advisors and their clients, and I'm familiar with some of the laws across international boundaries, I know it's a bunch of BS that's happening. So I am very wary of travel credits. And I do see that other advisors are weary as well. There's a class action lawsuit right now. A bunch of travel advisors are suing Avanti. I don't know if you know who Avanti is, but they're a worldwide tour operator. There's a class action suit going on against them.
So then if we think about it from, the kind of operators that we would tend to work with would be much smaller. So just thinking if they are doing the credits, I mean, would the honorable thing there is to pay out the commission on that at that stage? Or is it just kind of credits or no, because if the operator's holding the cash, right, then it would seem like,
it's not fair for you to hold my cash to float you, because guess what?
Yeah.
I also have to float me.
Right.
And so that's where I think a lot of the rub came in as well with the travel credits.
Yeah.
It is really like, wait a minute. I got kids to feed too.
Right. So it's just something that you want to make sure that you cover in your agreement. Are you going to offer a credit or a refund? And if credits are given, are you going to pay the commission?
Yeah.
When that credit is kind of issued, right?
Right.
Yeah. So many interesting threads to pursue here.
It's so complicated now, I feel like, because there's so many things that we have to cover. And so much has changed in the travel space over the last year. It's just, you know, we try to think about all of the what ifs, and you know, you don't want to borrow worry, but at the same time, we all want to be prepared, because ultimately we are both serving the same customer,
Right.
and we are a team to serve them.
Yep. All right. Well, we just,
Yeah.
looks like we amended your document, Katie. So that's good.
Yeah, I added a few things here under step 5, just as a reminder to everyone that those are some things, right, that your affiliates may have some concerns about. So, you know, in order to bring them in and onboard them, there's things that you also need to possibly be ready to share and to disclose, so that they can feel comfortable in investing their time into selling trips on your behalf, right? So, yeah. So once you've got your documents and your screening process kind of worked out, then you got to find the affiliates, right? So where do you go to do that? Reaching out to your network, always a good place to start, right? You could gather emails of either travel agents in your local area, maybe who can help sell, you know, sort of the inbound travelers. You can look for other agents or advisors, maybe that like specialize in, you know, a destination, like I said before, or an activity. Google a bunch of them, right, and see who kind of, you know, fits into your niche. And then influencers are another option. So that can be, you know, travel bloggers, people who are on Instagram and other platforms as well. And we're talking, you know, affiliates from this perspective of like, you know, people who are just going to sell spots on your trip. And I'm not really going to take this into that like sort of client loyalty or that other area that we sort of talked about in the last session for today, because I think that sort of deserves maybe its own sort of chunk of time, and would be a little bit less formal than sort of what we're dealing with here, right? So, so there's just some steps and suggestions in here, right, on how you can like reach out to folks, and that you may just wish to add like a page to your website to let people know that you are accepting affiliates to sell, you know, perhaps on your behalf. Anything to add about finding potential affiliates from anyone?
So I've actually connected Jen with a group in the United States. They have a technology solution that works great with, I think is a complement to YouLi, but it also is a fabulous resource for the smaller tour operators around the world who don't have the money to pay to be a preferred supplier of a consortia like Virtuoso or Travel Leaders or the host agencies who fall under those large consortias. And I don't know of anybody doing it this well and to this extent, but the name of the platform is Reposit. It's reposit.io. And what they do is they connect tour operators, DMCs around the world with travel advisors. So they have a really cool platform that allows you to send invitations to travel advisors within the platform who fit your profile. And then those travel advisors can also find you and connect with you. And the great thing about it is the platform is free to travel advisors because they want to expose as many advisors in the industry to all of these wonderful operators that are out there, but they just don't know how to find them. Because these consortia and host agencies, quite frankly, I'm going to be pretty honest with you, they don't care so much about the advisor. They care about the marketing dollars that they are receiving from these larger partners who pay to be preferred. And there are many, many good operators around the world that are small and that are running out, you know, their businesses out of their home. So there are ways that you can, it's put an E on the end of that, Katie, Reposit, yeah. And there are ways that you can connect with folks in the travel advisor community, okay? So there are ways to connect. I know that there are lots of opportunities in the influencer marketplace as well. You know, Jen's team works with Colleen Strimbrew, who owns tripwriters.com, which is basically trip writers and influencers. So there are opportunities out there for you. And I'm hoping that we can get some really cool integration stuff with Reposit and YouLi moving along.
Stay tuned. And we would love your feedback on that. So if anybody does use Reposit, we'd love to know what your experience is with that in terms of being connected to good travel advisors.
Great.
Yeah.
There. So we've upped this SOP again, which is fabulous, with a couple of solid resources.
And I will tell you too that, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting, but experience is the new coin. Okay, that is key today. And so if you are a curator of unique experiences, you have a great opportunity to influence the travel advisor community, because I'm going to be honest with you, there's not a lot of discernment. There's no barrier to entry for this industry. And so you may get a mom who converted her craft room last week and she loved going to Disney. And so now she thinks she's going to be a Disney agent. And then her agency explodes and she's booming, but she's never had a chance to step back and say, okay, how could I do things differently? So if you are really a curator of cool experiences, then you have an opportunity to provide a product that is so unique than a lot of the canned stuff out there.
Yeah.
And today, when I teach thousands of travel agents, I do webinars with our partners, I do in person, and I will tell you that is one of the top discussions. Experience is the new coin.
There you go, guys. The fact that you make really unique things will be, as soon as we can get you connected to the right agents, the thing that really gets you guys the bookings. But you already knew that. That's why you guys created unique experiences.
Yeah, but I would say more so today than at any other time, and private.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, those like private groups, small group, departure options. Yeah, going to be key for sure. That's awesome. So once you've found a few of these awesome potential affiliates, you know, push them through your application process, or get on a call with them, right? And make sure there's some alignment there. And don't be shy about, you know, reviewing the, you know, terms of the relationship, and, you know, asking them questions too, and, you know, really kind of deep diving into that. Quality over quantity is almost like a founding principle in my life. So that is something I'll just sort of push in there too, right? A couple of really key solid people is probably better to have a stronger relationship with and to provide on your behalf than this huge plethora of just meh folks who are kind of just all over the place, right? So
I call it creating raving fans. You only need a handful of raving fans. You don't need 1,000 people on your email list. You need raving fans.
Yes.
Who are invested partners.
Yeah.
And that's critical.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. So that's what we're aiming for to help you out with this here is, so then, yeah, go through that sort of like collection process, right? Make it a formal partnership, right? These are people who are representing, you know, perhaps your business, your brand, or you're co-branding something together. So you're in a partnership together. And make sure you get those payment details probably at this stage as well, so that you can go ahead and, you know, put them into Xero, put them into PayPal, you know, TransferWise, Flywire, whatever you're using to make sure that that's just all set up. So the second a trip is over, right, you can move forward with your payout situation. Then you need to, of course, invite your affiliates into YouLi. So they need to have their own YouLi account created. So in here, I've included the basic steps, and then again, the full guide over to the YouLi help here as well to walk you through that. Now is also a good time to share your media kit or just any other asset. So maybe you have a folder with some logos and some images of the trip that really feature some of the highlights. I think that is a really helpful collection of things to provide to your affiliates so they can use it on their social or in their emails, and they have some stuff that authentically represents your trip, and they don't have to go looking for stock photos somewhere else, right? That is time for them that they have to put into marketing your stuff, but B, we don't want any misrepresentation, right? So if you have a really strong policy about PFDs, right, on your kayak trip, and then an affiliate shares a picture that's just stock of people in their bikinis, you know, in their kayaks, that's not, you know, quite aligned, right, with maybe your brand values of safety, for example. Do you find media kits to be a helpful resource, Sheila?
Yeah, I would like to know, for those that are on the call, are you getting testimonial releases from your travelers? Because if you're sending images to your affiliates or influencers, they're relying on you to make sure that they are royalty free and you have all of the pieces and parts in place. It's something that a lot of advisors do not think about. It's one of the classes that I actually teach to travel advisors. I talk about copyright infringement in the 4 key areas. And so we want to make sure when we are relying on our partners that you guys are also taking the steps that you need on your end.
And so that's making sure that, and maybe that's even a task you add on the trip, you know, to sort of check the box that says you either accept or decline permission to use photos of you from the trip in future marketing, right?
Yes.
Is it okay to have that as part of your terms and conditions that they sign, or does it need to be a specific form?
Yes, you could put it as part of your terms and conditions.
Perfect.
Yeah, I have clients who have a clause also in their like waiver document, for example, which is another, you know, piece of the puzzle to that trip preparation process for the client as well. So if it, you know, if it can be in even a couple places, probably isn't a terrible idea either, just because, you know, redundancy is effective, and people, even myself included, sometimes we suck at reading all the fine details, right? So if it can be in a few different places, we can ensure it gets seen.
Yeah, and that might be one of those things as well. You just say verbally when you are taking photos on the trip, just like, hey, you know, just letting you know you agreed to this, or, you know, something like that, so that they're not surprised if their photo shows up on the next itinerary.
Yeah, as a tour guide, that was definitely something that I had a couple, you know, on big long trips, you know, clients come up and say, hey, I don't want my photo taken. I was like, okay, awesome. I'll just let you know anytime I want to take, you know, a group photo or something, right? And we'll take 2 versions. We'll take a version that's like for the company, and we'll take a version that's a souvenir for the group of just like clients only, because that was her sort of stipulation. So yeah, that's another piece there. Then we're going to do the payment tracking thing. So as Jen already alluded to, right, YouLi is working on helping you guys keep track of who's been paid for which referrals within the YouLi platform. So that is like in development as we speak. In the meantime, I just sort of recommended, you know, creating yourself either a payee in your, you know, Xero QuickBooks type of thing, put a reminder in your calendar, or use a Google Sheet, right, to store all your affiliates' payment details, their payment preference, how they want to get paid, maybe even their currency they need to be paid in, and that might be something that you need to wrangle in your agreement as well. And then I had put here to add a monthly payout tracking tab, so that if you until the YouLi feature comes out to say, I've paid this, I've paid this, I've paid this, you just need another place to kind of keep track of what you've paid out to each affiliate in the meantime. Okay. And then
I want to talk, if you don't mind me interrupting, Katie, I think this is really important for you guys to understand outside of the US, if you have not yet worked with US based travel agents. There are two types of agents. We have independently credentialed agencies. They operate their own credentials. They have their own seller of travel credentials in the 4 key states. They are allowed to accept payment directly from you because they meet all of those 4 state requirements with trust accounts and all of that good stuff. Okay, but if you're working with hosted agents, and that means, like, for instance, I'm a hosted agent. So I belong to Nexion. There are 4,500 agents in Nexion, and we use Nexion's credentials. Okay, so I don't have to go and get my own licensing. I don't have to worry about the liability associated with that. However, all of my payments, first of all, I can only pay supplier direct with my client's credit card if I'm hosted. I cannot collect payment through my agency and then pay my supplier with my credit card. And on the flip side, you have to pay your travel agents in the US who are hosted through the host agency. So your payments will go to the host. Be prepared ahead of time to have all of your documentation in place that you need to provide to those host agencies. Okay, so you know, it may be that there are tax reporting forms that need to be filled out. You'll need to supply banking details. Some of those host agencies may want to vet you before allowing their agents to book with you. So be prepared to have any financial data available because they want to make sure that you're viable. If you now become part of their system as a supplier that is listed, you're not listed in a preferred supplier page, but I can go in and see who I can choose in my drop-down menu of who I booked this trip with. You'll get more and more agents that start booking with you because they're going to see you. So I want you to be prepared for that. It's just another detail is what it is. Just another detail that you need to think about. It's different than if you're going to just work with an influencer who is, you know, maybe a beer maker in Germany and he can fill beer trips for you, or, you know, a famous skydiver. So it
sounds like influencers are a little bit easier than host agencies now.
Yeah, except that the influencers, they want more free stuff. And they won't be a real partner of yours. They're gonna be looking at it from a monetary standpoint more so.
Fair enough.
Could be a
Leading
potential
to paying the affiliates, because that's in the end what they care about, right?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, definitely. So just, you know, we're just capturing those payment details, right? Making sure the payout guidelines are clear in your agreements. And then you got to make sure that your affiliates are paid on time, right? So add this to your monthly bill payment process or your post-trip wrap-up process. So that, you know, as the trip ends, there's just a few little, like, you know, after that happens, things that you're probably going to tackle, and the pain of your affiliates now is going to be another to do, right, on the post-trip checklist, basically. And then, you, like Jen said, it is something you have to do outside of the platform. So whether you're using your accounting software to do that, like I said, PayPal, Flywire, TransferWise, whatever platform that is, log in, set that up, and have it ready to go. So it's easy on a recurring basis. And then number 10, I just put set up ongoing communication with your affiliates. And I think this, and I think Sheila will agree with me here, is super, super important to that, like, ongoing professional relationship, right? So arrange regular check-ins with your affiliates, you know, maybe get on a group chat or have a phone call, send them some emails, discuss future plans, make sure everyone's aligned, you know, provide any additional resources or information to help, you know, basically get them trained to sell your experiences, right? Like what makes your trip really special, what makes it really unique, and what do they need to be prepared to communicate to potential clients to make sure that they're bringing the people who are a good fit to make that group experience a positive thing. Announcing new trips and new trip dates by email, right? Keep your affiliates up to date as to what's available, right? Because they're not necessarily going to always log in to the YouLi platform to see what's available for them to sell. They might need a little nudge. So if you launch a new set of trip dates, right, that's a great opportunity to jump over to your CRM system, pull up your affiliate list, send it a quick e-blast that's like, hey, all of our great affiliates just wanted to let you know this new date is up for this trip. Head over to your YouLi dashboard to grab your links, basically, right? Keep them in the know of what's going on in your business. And of course, if you make just my last point here, and then you can take it away. If you make any changes to your affiliate program or terms and conditions, that really has to be shared, discussed, and probably have people re-up their agreement as well. Okay.
Right.
Take it away, Sheila.
I was just going to say that, and I'm just speaking to this because I get a lot of travel advisors ask me for advice. I do some private consulting with them. Where they struggle is looking within their own sphere of influence and identifying how they can maybe convert those customers into a specific type of travel or a niche, or they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it well. And so if you can show them, I mean, I know it's hard to meet one-on-one, but try to, as you build your affiliate base, create some webinars that you might do with them. Show them how they can dive into their CRM and identify clients who would be good for your product that they may not have thought about.
Yeah.
As you send emails out, here's another thing that I was encouraging a lot of advisors to do, particularly during COVID, is to work with operators in different countries. I don't know if you guys did this, but we did a lot of video experiences working with, tourism boards and DMCs. You can do some short videos to send in your email communication, which is very experiential and paints a picture. It's a story. If you can tell the story and then tell your potential affiliates how they can use this story and identify prospects within their CRM, then you can create a more profitable and successful relationship as well.
Excellent. Well, I recognize that, that takes time and energy. So I'm going to give you a tech hack here, which to Katie's point, like, they don't necessarily log into the platform and check new trip dates, but if you get your affiliates to actually embed your affiliate codes, the embedded code onto their websites, it will automatically populate your new trips and automatically remove your old trips off of their website. So if they don't just send links out in emails, but they actually take the time to do that embed, then they can be even lazier and still be up to date.
And they're lazy.
So definitely when you are kind of talking to them, if you are having a one-on-one, I think, help them sell your product for sure, but also help them to be, lazy.
Yes, and that creates such a great opportunity for you. I mean, that's how TIS was born. I mean, I basically hand people a business in a box, and everything that I sell in the TIS product, I use and still use in my agency, and so I can say I'm not selling you a shiny object. I actually did this to build a multi-million-dollar business in less than 2 years. So the lazier they are, the more opportunity you have to provide them with some of those tools. So turn it into an opportunity is what I'm saying. Don't look at it as a negative.
Well, thank you guys. This has been amazing. Well, if there's any final questions, feel free to raise your hand. But I'm assuming that you guys are just overwhelmed with incredible advice. So thank you, Katie, for putting that document together. So Katie runs Peak Flow OBM, and she does amazing work like this in template form, which there's a link in the chat. If you would like to purchase that at a discounted rate, you can buy that affiliate agreement from Katie, and that discounts because you joined our masterclass today. But if you wanted her to do any custom work for you, she's also available for consulting. She specializes in adventure travel and on the operations side of that. So thank you so much, Katie, for all of your advice and incredible process documents.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate being here.
And Sheila, thank you so much for your perspective. This is a new perspective that we don't always have in our master classes, because we are often quite focused on the operator perspective, and we're just kind of getting ourselves into this space. And just kind of, it's like, oh, there's a couple of acronyms you threw out there today that I'm learning, so that's good. And so your travel industry solutions, or travel industry solutions,
Mm-hmm.
Did I describe that right? Or would you like to do a better introduction of travel industry solutions?
So we help travel advisors create a no BS agency full of profit and freedom.
There you go. So if you are working with an agent who doesn't know what they're doing, but you really want them to sell your trip, send them to Sheila if they're an American agent. And she'll get their business in order so they can properly sell your trips. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you at the next masterclass. And actually this week, I'm going to be running a YouLi Cafe. This is going to be for our only our users. So normally these masterclasses are published live. We're going to be doing a private group where basically if anything came up in this session, for example, and you're really wondering like, wait, so how does this actually work in the platform? We're going to be creating a YouLi Cafe, kind of like office hours at university, where one of us experts from the YouLi platform will be available to just answer questions, and people can pop in. And if you don't have any questions, I'm just going to show you the cool things that I want to talk about on the platform. So so look for that. It's a Facebook event on Thursday, and only available to YouLi subscribers. All right, guys.
Sounds fun.
So much.
Thanks, everyone.
Nice to see everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great.
Thank you.